Hey everybody, this is Billy at Bakersfield Tough Man. I'm here with an icon of Bakersfield. Here he is, Big Al, right? And when we first started Bakersfield Tough, I came in here and I did a video with Big Al. And I've been wanting to put Al in the magazine because Al has been out. I'm going to ask you right now, how long have you been doing cowboy hats?
They say 49 years, but I forget.
49 years. That's amazing. Man.
I can't even count that high, but that's what they tell me, so you have to believe them, I guess.
So I think it's time that we put you in Bakersfield Tough, and we are. We're going to put you in the next issue of Bakersfield Tough, and that's going to be brought to you by Coors. Coors does all our ranching and rodeo stuff, and I'm excited about it. And today you're going to show us, we're going to go through and kind of walk the gamut here. We're going to walk and look at hats. We're going to look at creases and styles and all kinds of good stuff, and by the time this is all over, we'll all be experts on cowboy hats. What do you think?
Alrighty.
I love it. So how has cowboy hats changed? 49 years, let's just say 50. How much has cowboy hats changed over the years?
More than anything, the price has.
Really?
I mean, the styles are the same. You see the old movies with Hopalong Cassidy and Roy Rogers and stuff. More or less the same hats. When I first came here, this 4X hat here was $29.
This one right here?
Yes, and 6X was $39. Now they're $210 and $260.
What's changed on them?
It's still the beaver, and they're still made in America, and thank God they are, because we're paying extra for them. But the one in the box back there, the 1000X, is $5,000.
Yeah.
It's got the diamonds on it.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that. Yeah.
But that's really what's changed so much. What I like lately is a lot of these young kids are seeing some old movies, and they're coming back and asking for real creases. And I'm so old, I know those creases, okay?
How many different creases are there? I mean, ballpark, are there?
The crease that I would put in a hat would be what you tell me. It could be anything. I would say standard is probably 25 or 30, but there could be 100. What the heck do I know? You know.
Have you ever seen a crease that you've never seen before? Is there anything you haven't seen?
I have never seen one, but what has happened lately, a guy will walk in and said, "Can you do a Cheyenne crease?" I said, "Do you have a picture of it?" He said, "Yeah." Well, we call it a tall pine in California. Where are you from? He says, "Oh, I'm from Cheyenne, Wyoming." So it's the same crease, but a different name, okay?
Oh, okay.
He says, "Hey, do you do a Toronto?" I said, "Okay, Toronto, what is it?" He said, "Well, we call that a Hopalong Cassidy." So that's the only thing. It's regional. It depends where you live. But I mean, I remember the Californian had an article by Richard Chong, my buddy, who's got his picture of the corner over there. And he went to a concert and says, "I love this concert. Nobody was wearing a hat." I go, "Dear Richard," I said, "you know, this is the worst thing that I've ever heard in my life. You used to tell people who they were by their hats. Roy Rogers wore this hat. Look at Roy right there with that little hat there. That's how we noticed Roy.
Right.
Gene Autry had his own hat. Tom Hanks had his own hat.
Yeah.
Long Cassidy and stuff."
Yeah.
So the California calls me up and says, "Big Al, we loved your little thing there. We're going to fire Richard." And they did.
Yeah.
He came out smelling like a rose. He is now the violin player for those two brothers from Bisaya, and they're sons of the Pioneers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's their fiddle player now.
Yeah.
And he told me, "Thank you, Big Al, for getting me fired." I said, "No problem." It's the least I could do.
Very cool. Okay, so let's start looking at some hats here. Now, this is one. Can I pick this hat up here?
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's a hat that I would say is this is right out of the box, right? I mean, this is like
they call it open crown.
This is called an open crown, of course. And why? Because it's open. Now, does anybody ever wear a hat that's an open crown?
Some do. Sometimes it's an accident because nobody can crease them. Like I said, we do it.
Yeah.
Here's the same hat.
Okay, now here's the same hat with what kind of crease is this?
This is called a brick.
A brick.
See up into here?
Yeah.
Had I broke it down to the front, it would have been called a Gus. Had I dropped it to the back, it would have been called a tall pine.
Okay.
Had I put 3 dimples, it would have been called a rancher. So it just, as you pan down that aisle there, you can see the different creases and stuff.
Yeah. That's cool, man. And of course the sides too, right? Is there any names for the sides, or is that just kind of
that's called the flange, and lately the bull riders have been doing the sides real long and wide.
Yeah. And
these young kids all want to look like bull riders, so we're doing that.
Now, how much does bull riding influence Western wear? Is it fairly significant?
Lately, well, I'm getting ready to go to the rodeo Sunday and Monday in Vegas for the national finals. This is the World Series. This is the Super Bowl of rodeo.
Right.
The top 15 cowboys in every event will be there at the Thomas and Mack. It's just unbelievable. I've gone the last 25 out of 26 years. I was sick one year, and I'm sorry I missed it. And they called me up from the rodeo. "You're missing a great rodeo." I said, "Thanks a lot, you dirty no good." So everyone didn't go there. But it's just something that sells clothing. It sells hats. They sell buckles. They sell shirts. There's nothing they don't sell. it's got to be a multi-million-dollar operation.
Right.
I can remember when I talked to some of the old rodeo guys, and they say, well, I won $35 in a case of beer, and that was first place, okay?
Yeah.
That's the old Glenville Rodeo 50 years ago. They'd compete for $200 or $300.
Yeah.
Now, a young kid, 18 years old, if he wins the PBR, $1 million in 4 days.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It's,
Right.
it's really changed.
Times are different. Okay, so let's walk over here and take a look at. Now we've got the different materials, right? And now this kind of looks like, I'm looking at here. Now this kind of looks like right out of the war, right? Am I wrong?
Well, it's called the Yellow Ribbon of John Wayne, but it is like a cavalry hat, and they spray dirt on that and charge us extra for the dirt, okay?
Do they really? Is that really dirt or is that paint? That's probably paint.
Well, it's spray painted to look like dust and dirt.
Right. Yeah.
So start in the corner over there, and we'll work our way down this way.
Okay, let's take a look.
That hat there,
Right here or here?
the black one.
Yeah, right here.
That is wool.
This is wool.
Yes.
Now, is wool? What's the quality of wool compared to beaver?
She got stuck in the hospital.
$100.
$100 less?
More.
More. Wool is more than.
It's less.
Okay.
Here's beaver.
All right. So beaver is the material you want to
Yes,
have.
yes.
Let's. Okay. Wow.
Then they had that chinchilla ermine mink, the one we were talking about a little while ago over there.
Right. And what's the purity on the when they talk about? Does that make a difference? Or?
It used to be 10x was pure,
Okay.
but then they came out with 20. I go, what's 20? Well, that's double pure. Then they came out with 30. I go, well, no, come on, what is this, guys? Well, that's hand select. And when they got to 100, I just quit counting it, okay?
Yeah.
But now that one over there says 1,000. But it's chinchilla, ermine mink, and beaver, and diamonds, and gold, and platinum, and it comes in that box over there. So
Right. What is it about the beaver that makes it so attractive for cowboy hats?
water repellent.
Water. It's all
Yes,
about water
it was
repellent.
all. John B. Stetson was diagnosed as having TB working in New York, so he came to the West to die. And he saw these Indians felting the beaver fur from right here at the belly. That's what they call a silver belly, making it into hats. And he made a hat and sold it for $5, and the rest was history. He moved to Jackson, Missouri, and St. Joseph, Missouri, rather.
Wow.
And the rest was history. That's how he started the John B. Stetson Company
Wow.
from beaver fur. And it was always called silver belly because they threw away that belly piece from the beavers because when they made jackets and stuff, they wanted the brown, the real pretty with the brown thing. But all beavers apparently got a little patch here, and that's where they got the fur.
Wow.
But what's happened lately, they're not killing beavers in America like they used to.
Okay.
They're not killing them in Canada like they used to. Most of them are coming from Russia, and the beavers there are as hungry as the people are. They're just lousy, lousy beavers. And the quality's gone down. Stetson, God bless him, Milano, Larry Mahan, my favorite, Wrangler, and Resistol are still making a pretty good hat for the money. The only problem is the price has gone up. And the more beaver you put into a hat, that one's marked 4X. That one's marked 6X.
Yeah.
That one's marked 10X right above it. See
Now,
the
does it
price?
feel any different, like as you
Well, slightly,
increase the
but
X's?
Feel this one. Feel the 4.
Okay.
Feel the 6.
Okay.
Right here behind you. 6. Feel the 10.
Where's the 10 right here?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, a little softer.
Yes. And that's where it's at.
Yeah.
That's what they're paying for. They're paying for the quality of the hat. Yeah. In the old days, it was 2X and 3X, but they were 7.
You ever see anybody fudge on an X? Like, can you tell, like, hey, this is not...
Well, unfortunately, there was a store in Santa Monica, and they were Hispanics, and they got a hold of a machine to put X's in hats, and Stetson found out they were putting extra X's and selling, so they took away the hats from the store and stuff like that.
Wow.
And they have counterfeited the X's.
So you can counterfeit X's on
Yeah,
cowboy. Wow.
they've done that, and people pay
Yeah.
through the nose because that's how you base the price of a hat, how many X's it's got. But lately they've kind of messed that up too because they put X's in straw hats.
Yeah.
And there is no beavers in straw hats, but I mean,
Yeah.
that hat in the corner over there has
Yeah.
500 X's and a picture of a beaver.
Yeah. That don't mean nothing, though, or...
No, because there's no beaver in these hats.
Yeah.
So that's what's happened to the hat business.
Right. So I'm going to come over here. Now, I saw this. Now, we have some of this. Now, this is called the gam. I was looking at this. This is like a...
Royal Flush or the Gambler.
Right. That's like Kenny Rogers right here, right?
Absolutely.
That's exactly what it looks like, man. Look at that.
And the one next to it would be called an open road. That's the one that LBJ would wear. All the presidents wore that LBJ.
Oh, okay. Right here.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I could see that.
All the presidents were wearing that hat because Stetson gives them one every year. The only president that didn't wear a hat was Kennedy. He didn't want to mess up his hair.
Wow. Now, I thought something was really cool. You actually have a cowboy hat named after you, right?
Yes,
Can we show the people this? Because I think this is really cool.
Absolutely.
And there's a little story behind it too, right?
Yes, there is. There's always a story with me because I'm so full of it, but it's no big deal. Years ago, I went to Texas to see Milano Hat Company, and John Milano had been president of Resistol, and he had hired George Strait to work as one of his spokespersons. So this little George Strait hat here was one of the top hats in America for 100 years, and it still is to this day.
Yeah.
So I carried this hat to Texas with me, go to the factory. I say, hey, John, I want this hat. I want you to make it for me. He said, Big Al, I cannot call it a George Strait. I said, well, don't call it a George Strait. Just name it after the best-looking guy that you know, and we'll go from there. Well, for some reason, he called it the Big Al.
This hat is called the Big Al, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So
you have your own hat style.
Yes.
Now, is that your special design right there? I mean, is that something that you kind of feel like is...
Yeah, horse around with it. And I did the brim a little different than George because I didn't want to be a pure copycat, just kind of semi.
What do you sell the most of here? I mean, what would you say is the...
George Strait straws are #1 in America.
Yeah.
And they're #1 in our store.
Wow.
In felts, I would say that wall over there, the Stetsons and the Beavers are our #1 hats. What happened lately, and I've got a table full of hats in the front there for $29 and $39, they've gone into China, and they're making some good hats, but they're not American hats, and we don't put them back here. See how they've got the little
made in America, right?
We're trying to do that as much as we can. It's patriotic, but you as a consumer are paying more money for it because it's costing us more to get it, but some people don't care.
And I would imagine this is the steam machine, right?
You got it.
Okay, so you're going to show us, and we have a open
crown.
Open crown here. Here it fire up.
It's perfect.
Now, is there a certain temperature this has to be, or just steam?
We set it, and you don't get them too close because they'll buckle. The reason a lot of companies don't make open crown hats is because a lot of companies ruin them, and they don't want to take them back anymore. We do so many that they'll do them for us. So, remember I told you that Gus is probably the first crease? Because I think when they first put the hat on, they grabbed it just like that.
Yeah, got a handle.
And see that crease?
That's cool.
And so they named it the Gus, and I think that was just the first crease that ever happened to these hats. The brim, of course, you can snap it down. See, a real cowboy would go for brim. He wants shade.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to get wet, with water and stuff.
Yeah.
What we call the drugstore cowboys, they have their hats rolled up so high on the sides that they look like butterflies, but they don't care,
Yeah.
But this is what my boss taught me. When I first came here, my boss was Little Al Goldwater, and he was a prince of a guy, but he was only about this big. And his name was Al, my name was Al. So when people would call and says, "Can I speak to Al?" I go, "Which one, the big one or the little one?" So I became Big Al for some reason. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. But he loved to do hats and stuff.
You can so I just saw you pop that in and out. So if you have a crease on a cowboy hat, can you actually change the crease later?
I do it. It's kind of rough, but we do it as customer service because any hat that we sell, we take care of free of charge. Yes.
I mean, you ever have a crease fail? Does it fail out in the field at all ever?
When I first started, I had a lot of them that failed. And I threw them in the garbage and hide them, but those were the old days. Okay.
Yeah. You know, one thing that when I came in here that I was impressed with is that you actually know a little bit about country music, especially like some of the rhyming years.
I got very lucky. I met Buck Owens when I was a young kid, and so was he. I met Merle. I met Brett Paisley. Tracy Lawrence, Tracy Bird. They would come in and we'd crease their hats and we'd start talking to them. And we'd go to a place called the Funny Farm and we'd dance at night to all these little music and stuff. So we picked up the music and the dancing and all that kind of stuff. And it got to be very, very, very enjoyable.
Yeah.
To this day, I'll never forget Buck. He came in the day. This was Thursday. He died here on Friday. And he was feeling so good, but he was so thin. Yeah. He'd beat cancer.
So wait, this was taken actually the day before?
The day before he died, right there.
Wow.
And his heart gave out. He fought the battle and he lost eventually. But the story goes, because I didn't go that night because I had a birthday party for my granddaughter. But he had been there and he ate a chicken fried steak. He didn't feel good. So he's getting ready to leave and he's sneaking out the back door. Some lady pulls up and says, "Where you going, Buck?" I said, "Sweetheart, I don't feel good." Says, "We drove in from Bend, Oregon, Buck, just here." He said, "Well, I can do a song or two." Well, he went back in there and did the whole set and just gave him the show of their life, and that was his last show ever. So
Wow, it's amazing.
That's the kind of performer that he was.
Very cool. Well, we're gonna look into cowboy hats on the next issue coming up in Bakersfield Tough, and we're gonna have you kind of show people styles and all that stuff, and I can't wait to see it.
Alrighty, sounds great.
Very cool. This is Al. This is Billy. This is Bakersfield Tough.
Thank you so much.